Freedom Bench. Let's revisit the 223 series. If you remember back in that series, we had some quote unquote dirty brass that was coming out of our hand loads when compared to our factory ammo loads. So tonight we're going to do a couple test charges on 20 rounds, and we're going to see how those compare to the ones that we did before. We're back.
Welcome back to the bench. It's great to see you all again. Glad you all stopped in tonight. Tonight, let's take a look at 223 again. So, as I said in the intro, as you recall, I'll see if I can find a picture, but some of the brass we shot from our original 223 H335 load of 25 grains was a little bit dirty. Now, that's not really a problem because we didn't have any issues in terms of it cycling the firearm or in ejection or anything like that. All it was just a little bit noticeable. It was a little bit more dirty. So I figured we could do a couple different test batches to see if we could maybe combat that issue a little bit. That way we could do some testing. That way we can get a load worked up that we can feel confident in and that we can make a whole bunch of them out of. So tonight we've got our 20 pieces of brass. This is the same 20 pieces that we used in the initial test. And this brass has already been cleaned up. It's been resized. The lube's been washed off, and now we are to the point of trimming. So tonight we've got on the press the the Lee Quick Trim Deluxe trimmer inside of the 223 Quick Trim die, and we are going to start tonight's episode by trimming some brass. Now, specification for 223, to remind you all, is 1.73 to 1.76. And the way I have this quick trim set up is to get us right at 1.755. So let's take our calipers and let's measure one. This is currently at 1.76 on the dot, which is right at the top of the range for specification. So we're going to trim. So if you can see, if we can get the camera to focus, you can see a shiny edge around that neck. You can kind of see it there. And it's got the nice thing about the Deluxe Quick Trim is that it deburrs and gets all that out of there. You don't have to use another tool in order to do so. So let's see what we got now. .755. That's just right below specification of 1.76, and I like that because it's going to lengthen the life of our brass, hopefully, just by being a little bit under specification. That way each time we fire, we just trim a little bit out of there and we can reuse these guys. So I'm going to trim these up, and then I'll see you guys in a bit. Next up, let's get some primers in.
Now that we got all of our brass primed and ready to go, let's drop some powder. Powder we're going to use tonight is the same powder we used before. We got Hodgdon H335. Now this is where we're going to mix it up a little bit. So what we did the last go around where we had a little bit of the dirty brass, we used 24.8 grains of Hodgdon H335. Now the thinking behind this is that if you don't have enough powder inside of the case won't expand. So if you think about the way that the rifle is, this is going into the bore, and then when the primer ignites and the explosion, the release of pressure goes off, the brass actually expands. And the brass needs to expand correctly to the correct diameter of your rifle barrel. That way all of the pressure and all of the powder and all of the projectile and everything goes out. Now if the pressure that is released is not large enough, that's when air or whatever powder can engulf the case, and you're not getting all of it going forward, and that causes the case to get dirty. That's my theory. That could be wrong. Throw me a comment down below if that's incorrect, and give me the real reason of why brass could get dirty with varying loads. But tonight what we're going to do is we're going to mix it up a little bit with our grains. So right about here is what we're going to load tonight. So we've got 4 different test groups of 5, and we are going to do 4 different charge weights. We've got 24.0, 24.4, 24.8, and 25.2. Now, in researching what we should do here tonight, I checked several different manuals. I have a Lyman reloading manual, and that one I believe had highest charge weight go up to 27. Then, since that's the only reloading manual I have, I always check the internet, and some people post pictures of their own specific reloading manuals, and it's very surprising for H335 with a Hornady full metal jacket boat tail with a cantilever projectile, which is what we're going to be firing. And it's all over the map. I've seen stuff, people were charging as low as 21 to 22 grains and as high as 27, 27 and a half. So since this is the first time that we're doing any sort of testing with charge weights, I want to be in a very specific range. That way we're not getting too heavy, we're not getting too light, and then that way we can inspect each of our cases. We can take a look at the primers and see if we have any cratering, which would indicate too much powder, and we can also check to see if the primer strike is too light, which would indicate not enough powder. So we're going to try and stick within a, basically a 1.2 grain, which is not very big at all for 223. And then we'll see what we get as results, and then we can expand from there. I just think that's the safer option and the better option. So let's get to dropping some powder. Let's talk about the process we're going to use for dropping powder tonight. Since we're within 1.2
grains within our entire range. When we're using the Lee Perfect Powder Measure, I've got this thing set at our bottom starting load, which is 24.0 grains. So every time I drop powder from the measure, it's gonna be basically 24. So from there, I've got the Lee powder scale out, and since we want to be real precise on grains, I'm not going to use the digital scale tonight. I'm going to use this one, which is a lot more accurate. So the idea behind this is we'll get at our starting 24, we'll load 5 of those, and then from there, instead of adjusting the powder measure for 0.4 grains, we're just going to use the powder scooper that came in the die set, and we'll drop 24 grains, and then we'll get some powder and then just kind of trickle some in there and go from there. That way we can get our 4 different test groups, and then we'll be off to the races. So let me show you one. So I have this scale set up to 24 even. You'll notice here, if you can see it, if I scoot it a little closer. So the little ball is set on 20, and then over here towards the right or left, I can't tell based on the camera angle, we've got this set to 4, so 24 even. And then once we get into decimals, the numbers right here at the top are tenths of a grain. So this thing has been zeroed out, and then I set it up to 24 grains, and we will rearrange a few things. Drop some powder in the little catcher, and then we'll see how it stacks up. The only thing that's a little bit nerve-wracking with this, frustrating I should say, is it takes a little bit for it to balance out. Now you can see right over here that we are right on line with where we need to be, so that's 24 grains. So what I've been doing for the first couple is just to verify we're somewhat close. I'm gonna zero out the digital scale here, drop our case on there, and then let's drop the powder inside there. See if I can do this without spilling. And that says 24, so we should be good to go and able to go on to our next one. Holy crap, that took a while. So I got these guys loaded up, but boy oh boy did it take forever. Now I know why those guys who use the automatic, whatever they're called, Loadmaster machines, where you just hit the button and it plugs it in digitally and you spit it out. Just for reference, that took me like an hour and a half just to do 20. I found out that I am absolutely abysmal at trying to just trickle powder in. I might have to buy myself a little powder trickler if I want to keep doing this, but holy smokes, that was a long time. Let's seat some bullets. Tonight we're going for a cartridge overall length of 2.20. 2.210. .208. It's good enough. Let's do a couple of them here. .209. It's good enough. Let's do one more. .204. It's right where we need to be. Finish these up and then we'll do some crimp. Let's get these finished up. You can see just a slight ring around the cantilever. I do not think that that's excessive at all. One of the things I was thinking about from my last go around with these, I ended up adjusting this die from what I did last time. I'm not sure if not enough crimp could have been the culprit for the brass being a little bit dirty, but I feel like I'm putting a little bit more crimp on these for this second go around. I think they're looking good. You can tell when you push it up into that die that it's just kissing that edge. There's just a little bit of pressure for that round going up into the die. This range day is going to be fun. The amount of time that it took me to complete these, we're going to take our time and we're going to enjoy it. And we will bring it all to you. Thanks for stopping by tonight, guys. Whoa, 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 whoa. I can't believe I forgot my favorite part of reloading. This is the L.E. Wilson, L.E. Wilson case length gauge for accurate uniform hand loads. My favorite part. I can't believe I forgot. I love that sound. If this video hasn't put you to sleep yet, I don't know if there is a better sound. Good night.